Hi and hello dear friends. Welcome back once again to our channel Vagay Academy of Mathematics, and this session we have the question paper of 2017 January UGC NET paper 1, and as usual we are about to solve questions from arithmetic and reasoning concepts. Here we go. Our first question is actually from numbers and equation. If you remember the previous session, we had a very similar question based on this numbers and equation. And the same concept, we again have a question here. Let's go to the question. Ali buys a glass, a pencil box, and a cup for a total of rupees 21. And then Rakesh buys a cup, then two pencil boxes, and a glass and pays rupees 28. That is the total cost is going to be 28 rupees. And we have one more information which states Preeti buys two glasses, then a cup and two pencil boxes for a total of 35 rupees. So we have got three statements, and as usual, whenever we have this kind of informations given, we need to turn them to be equations. Just turn them as equations. We need to just assume some variables, insert some variables, and then frame equations, and that would very easily help us to solve the question and get the answer, right? And finally, what is asked for us to find? If you see, so the total cost of 10 cups will be how much? This is going to be our question. And let's now start to solve the question. So here it is given that the first person is going to buy a glass, a pencil box, and a cup. That is one from each variety, right? So let's do a thing. Let's just take that glass, cost of one glass to be G rupees. Okay, in terms of rupees, we will take it to be G. And then for the pencil box, we will just have the variable to be P. And we have one more, we have a cup, right? And the cost of cup, we will just assume it to be C. This would be very fine for us because we are just taking the starting letters itself. It would be very easy for our assumption. And now we go set the equations. Fine. Yeah, we go. Our first information says Ali buys a glass. That means one glass. One glass will be like G. A pencil box, that means plus P. And a cup, that means plus C. So G plus P plus C. This total cost is what is equal to 21. Let's do a thing. Let's just call this to be equation number 1. Fine? Yeah. Let's move on to the second statement. Second one, we have Rakesh buys a cup, right? So a cup, in the sense it corresponds to one cup. So a cup, so we'll have it to be plus C here. We'll just place the terms, the like terms in the same column so that it will be very nice for us to have that representation. It will be very easy for us to grab the information. That's why when we solve the equations also, it will be very easy for us to take it and solve. That's the reason. Yeah, next is two pencil boxes. So that means we must have two P's here. So 2P, and then we have a glass. A glass means it is going to be one glass. So that means G. So that means the cost of G, 2P, and 1C, that is G plus 2P plus C. This is what is equal to, it's given to be rupees 28 here, right? So that means this value will be equal to 28. And we got our second equation. We'll call this to be equation number 2. And we have one more information given here. Preeti buys two glasses, a cup, and two pencil boxes. So here in this third one, we have two glasses, two pencil boxes, and one cup. So that means two glasses, so 2G, then two pencil boxes for which we'll have 2P, and only one cup again, so plus C, simply C. This will be equal to, and see what's the total here. Here is the total is 35 rupees. So we will note it as 35 and call this as equation number 3. Fine, done. So successfully we have set three equations using the three informations. Finally, all we need to do is we'll have to just solve these equations, and we need to find the cost of 10 cups. That is, we need to find the value of this C, right? This last variable C, because C stands for the cups price, So once we find the C, then it will be very easy for us to get the value of the cost of 10 cups. Is it or not? Yeah, fine. So let's now think some smart approach. How can we solve this problem? Fine. So we have two equations. We'll just decide from where or from which equations we can start, right? Yeah. So if you see the uniformity, we have equation number 2 and equation number 3. See here, equation 2 we have G plus 2P plus C, and equation number 3 we have 2G plus 2P plus C. So that means this 2P plus C and 2P plus C, it's going to be common in both these equations, is it or not? So that means it would be much comfortable if we start with equation number 2 and equation number 3. Fine. So let's do a thing. So we'll just take equation number 3 and just subtract equation number 2. So we'll do equation number 3 minus equation number 2. Then what happens is we'll simply have 2G minus this G, which will be simply just G. And if you see this 2P minus 2P, they will cancel off. And this C minus C, once again, they will cancel off. I hope it is clear to you. So this is the reason we are choosing these two equations. I mean equation 2 and equation 3. Now what happens is when we come to subtract this equation 3 minus equation 2, then what happens is from 2G, if we subtract this G, this G means it's going to be 1G, right? So 2G minus 1G will be 1G, that stands for G. And all the remaining terms will be going off. They will be cancelled because we have all the other terms to be similar. 2P minus 2P, it will be 0, and C minus C will be 0. So simply we'll be having only G in our left hand side. So that means we have G is equal to, now coming to the right hand side, we have equation number 3, right hand side we have 35, and equation number 2, right hand side we have 28. So now all we need to do is 35 minus 28, that will be simply 7. So now we got G is equal to 7. So that means we got the price of one glass to be equal to 7 rupees. That's it, right? But we need to find the price of 1C. I mean the cup's price is what we need. But we got G's value first of all, no issues. We'll just use it in the equations. We'll just reduce the size of the equation, then proceed. Fine. Yeah. Now let's do another thing. Now this time we'll just substitute this value of G, I mean G is equal to 7, in these equations. Okay. And that too, again, we'll have to choose the equations in a wise way. See here, equation 1 and equation 2 we have. Once again, here we have G and G. And if you see it here, we have 2P and P. Is it or not? Now, again, in this equation 1 and equation 2, we have this G terms and C terms to be common. Is it or not? So once again, what we can do is we can just subtract equation 2 minus equation number 1. So now what happens is it's going to be again a magic. So G minus D, it will go off. C minus C, it will go off. So all we will have is we'll just end up with 2P and P. Is it or not? So 2P minus P will be simply P will be equal to, now again coming to the right hand side, we have 28 minus 21, which will give us 7. Is it or not? So we successfully got the value of P also. So before we substitute the values, we are able to simplify the equations itself and then get the values of these variables one by one. And all we need to do is now we can substitute the values of this G and P in any of these equations. I think equation 1 is very better, right? It appears very simple, and if we use it, we can very easily find the answer. Now we just substitute the value of G and P in equation number 1, which gives us 7 plus 7 plus C will be equal to 21. And we use it in equation 1. And that means C will be equal to, we know 7 plus 7 is 14. So 14, when it is subtracted from 21, now we get C is equal to 7. So that means cost of 1 cup is very simple to find. It's going to be 7. That's all, right? Yeah. Now our question is asking what is the cost of 10 cups. So cost of 1 cup is going to be 7 rupees. But the question is asking us to find the price of the cost of 10 cups. So that would be nothing but 7 tens are rupees 70, and that would be our final answer, which is matching with option number 4. Option 4 says rupees 70, and that's going to be the answer. A very easy problem. It involves more variables, like 3 variables are here and 3 equations are here. Though it is having 3 equations, 3 variables, it is up to us in what plan we solve the problem, what easy approaches we have to solve the problem. And once again telling, we have other few approaches also, but it is up to us what approach, what order we solve the equations and get the answer. It is totally up to us. It is totally our plan in what way we are going to solve it. Fine? Yes. However, we got the answer. Answer is going to be option 4, which is 70 rupees. Moving on to the next problem. Here we have a set of problems. Once again, we have table or column. So that means we'll have some set of problems here. But before that, let's see what is there available in the table. So the below table, we have the data which shows the sales revenue. So it is given, we have the sales revenue, which is given in terms of lakhs, generated by some publishing house during the years 2012 to 2015. Yeah, we have 4 columns: 2012, 13, 14, 15. Yes. And while selling books, magazines, and journals as 3 categories of items. So we have 3 categories. So that means this table is clearly giving us some information about how much sales has happened in terms of lakhs when selling 3 different items, 3 different categories: journals, magazines, and books, in 4 different years, like from 2012, 2013, 14, and 15. This is all we have. And that too, we have these numbers in terms of lakhs. We see here as mere numbers. Like if you see 2012, the journals sales revenue is going to be 46. It is going to be actually 46 lakhs. Same way 2012 magazines, we see it is simply 31. It is shown here, but it is going to be 31 lakhs. See here, that's what is given in the question itself in terms of lakhs, right? Yeah, we'll keep this in mind. So we are now sure about what this table is delivering, what information is delivered here through this table. Now we are very sure about it. And there is one empty 4th row here which states total. Actually, this total corresponds to the total sales revenue made for that year with all these 3 categories, right? So that means if I want to find 2012's total, what we are supposed to do is we just need to add 46 plus this 31 plus this 73, right? And put it here. That's what comes here. But let us not do that here now itself, because we just go see the questions. If it is necessary, we can go do that. Fine. Yeah, now we are clear with what we have in the table. It's a time for us to move on to the questions. Yeah, let's move on to the questions. Let's just number this one to be question number 2. Yeah, fine. The number of years in which there was an increase in revenue from at least 2 categories of items is going to be how many years? This is our first question. So again, it's going to be a very simple question. There's nothing to do with any calculation. There's no calculation it's going to involve here for this question. It's just going to be our observation. We just need to observe and get the answer. Let's clearly understand the question first of all. See what is asked: the number of years in which there was an increase in the revenue. So we need to just compare the sales revenue that is being displayed here for any particular year with the previous year, and we need to see whether there is an increase. That's what is asked here. Number of years in which there was an increase in the revenue from at least 2 categories of items. So this is what we have in the question. So at least in 2 categories. So we have totally 3 categories here: journals, magazines, and books. We have 3 categories. Out of these 3, at least 2 categories we must find an increase in some particular year than compared to the previous year. So that is happening in how many number of years? This is our question. So obviously 2012 will not be able to do that process. Why? Because for 2012, if I want to check it, we need to have the sales revenue of 2011's table. Is it or not? but 2011 is not available here. So we can start from 2013's revenue. Why? Because we have 2012's revenue. 2013's previous year is going to be 2012, right? So all we need to do is we need to just check whether it is going to increase or not. Fine. Yeah. Let's just check it. So 2012 to 2013, we'll just check it. So coming to journals, yes, journals 46 to 47, journals has increased. Yeah. Coming to magazine 31 to 39, yeah, it's still increased. And 73 to books, if you see 73 to 77, that is also increased. So out of the three categories, all three is getting increased for the year 2013. So that means we can take 2013 year to account. And also if you see here, it is just given that from at least two categories. Is it or not? Now here, all three categories we can find that increase. So we can definitely take this, no issues at all. We can just take this 2013 into record. Yeah, we'll just take it. Now coming to 2013 to 14, right? Yeah, here we'll just see whether we are able to get the increase in at least two of these categories. Fine. Yeah, coming to 47 to 45. If you come to 2013 to 14, journals category, if you just see, here we have 47 to 45. That is actually a decrease has happened. So leave it. So magazines we see, magazines we have 39 to 46. Yes, it is an increase. And books, if you see 77 to 78, again it is an increase. Anyways, we can sure take this year 2014 also. Why? Because they have asked at least two categories. Yeah, out of three, we have got two categories, right? At least two categories. Yeah, it is working. So at least two in the sense it should be two categories or more than two categories. That's what. So if you see 2012 to 13, it is working. It's more than two categories. And here, if you see 2013 to 14, it is going to increase in exactly two. But no matter, they have just asked at least two. Yeah, it is satisfying. So that means we can take 2014's year also to account. Now we'll just check for 2014 to 15. Let's see what happens. 2014's journal 45 and 15 is 44. That means it is a decrease. And 40 magazines, if you see 46 to 51, yeah, it is an increase. And 78 to 78, it is neither increase nor a decrease. So that means here also we don't have an increase. And we are actually getting only one category to be increased from 2014 to 2015. So that means we cannot account the year 2015 here. So for how many years actually it is happening? For 2 years, 2013 and 2014, our task, I mean like our questions condition is getting satisfied. So that means for 2 years it is happening. Option number 3, which is 2 years, is going to be the answer for our second question. Fine. So as told, there's nothing to do any calculation, just an observation itself is helping us to get the answer. Next, move on to the third question. Here we have question number 3. Let's see what is given here in this question. Once again, this question is also based on the same tabular column. But before that, let's just go see what is there in the question. So here we have, if the year 2016 were to show the same growth. So if the year 2016 is to show the same growth in terms of the total sales revenue as the year 2015 over the year 2014, then what would be the revenue in the year 2016? So this is our question. They've asked what is the approximate revenue for the year 2016. Anyways, let's try to calculate this. And coming back to the table, because we definitely need to take the help of this table. And in this table, let's just frame one more new column, 2016, because about the 2016's revenue is what the question is actually discussing. Let's see what is asked here. See, if you just see here, they're just asking in the year 2016 if it is going to have the same growth in terms of the total. Fine. Yeah. If 2016 is going to have the same growth when compared to coming back here, when compared to the total sales made in the year 2015 over the year 2014. So that means what? So that means if you come see the growth for the total sales from the year 2014 to 15, if the same growth is happening for 2015 to 16, then what would be the total revenue, total sales revenue for the year 2016? This is all we have in this question. Fine, right? It's very easy to understand. So anyways, for us to calculate the answer, we definitely need the total for 2014 and 2015. Let's quickly try to calculate the two totals here itself. So we have 45, 46, 78. So let's just add and get the total here for 2014. So we have 8 plus 6 to be 14, 14 plus 5 is 19. So 1 carry. So 1 plus 4, 5, 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16. So that means 169 lakhs for the year 2014. Let's calculate the same for the year 2015. So here we have 8 plus 1, 9, 9 plus 4, 13. So 3 and 1 carry. 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17. So that means we have 173 lakhs for the year 2015. And now if you see, the growth is what we have to compare, 169 to 173. So the total sales revenue, if you see the growth, we have 2014's total to be 169 and 2015's total to be equal to 173. So that means how much is increased here? That is what we have to see. So it's very easy for us to see. There's a 4 lakh increase or there's a 4 lakh growth in the total revenue. So that is what is observed here. And the same trend is continued for the year 2016. This is what is posted in the question. So if you want, we can even come back to the question. You can see it here. If in the year 2016, we have the same growth in terms of the total sales revenue as the year 2015 over 2014. So if the same growth we observe from 14 to 15, if the same growth is done here, then what would be the revenue? So 169 to 173, we have 4 lakhs increase. So if the same 4 lakhs increase is found here also, then what happens to the year 2016's revenue? It would be nothing but 173 plus 4. So that would give us 177. So 2016's total will be 177. And there's nothing to worry about the individual categories, because the question is not concentrating on the individual categories. The question is just focusing on the total revenue, right? So that means here 2014 to 2015, we have plus 4. And the same thing comes here also. Fine. So here also we have 173 to 177, that will be plus 4. If you do that, we just get it 177. So we get the same value. So plus 4, we do it 177. And that matches with option number 4. So successfully we got the answer for this. And we have one more last question we have. So it's going to be a percentage question. We'll quickly try this question also. Question number 4. This is question number 4. We'll just try this question also. Let's see what is there in this question. In the year 2015, approximately what percent of the total revenue came from books? So purely it's a percentage based question. So let's try to answer this question also. So they're asking about the year 2015. So the question is all about in the year 2015, out of the total revenue. So we already calculate the total revenue. It's going to be 173 lakhs. Out of the total 173 lakhs, let's come back to the question once again. Out of the total revenue, see here, what percent of the total revenue came from books? This is all we have in this question. So out of the total, so what is our total? Let's go back to the table. So it's going to be a bit lengthy work because we have to move on frequently to the table and our question. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. 2015, we have our total to be 173. And what about books? From books, the sales revenue obtained is 78 lakhs. So that means out of 173, the total 173, books, which is 78, is going to constitute how much percentage? So this is all we have in the question. Fine. So for which what calculation we should do? We have already tried many questions from percentages. So in order to find what percentage, what we do, the total 173 is our denominator, and fix for what value we are about to find the percentage, fix it in the numerator. So 78 into 100. So this simplification would actually give the answer to the question. But unfortunately, if you see, we will not be able to divide these numbers because the numbers are appearing to be very harder for us to use the tables to simplify. So in these cases, just look at the options, see the options. First of all, we have to look the options only because options are going to be our true friends, right? See the options. The options are going to be really, they are going to help us. See here, they are widespread, right? See here, we have 25, 35, 45, 55. These kind of, we have a very big gap between the options, and that itself is much enough for us to predict the answer. Let me tell why and how. Okay, yeah, fine. So first of all, let's go see, check the values of this 173 to 18. All we need to do is for this number 173, this 78 is going to be what percentage? That's it, right? So let's do a very simple thing. We have the total to be 173. So this is going to be the full number, is it or not? First of all, let's just do a very simple thing. Let's try to calculate what would be 50% of our number 173. I hope it is clear to you. Our total is going to be 173. Our total is 173. Let's just note it here. And for our number, let's try to calculate 50%. We know about 50%. 50% of a number is nothing but half of that number. Is it or not? So that means let's try to do a thing. Let's divide 173 by 2 and let's see what happens. Okay. Let's try to do the approximate calculation. Fine. Yeah. So 173 by 2. So we have 2 8s are 16, so that means 1 is carry. And next we have 2 6 are 13 and a 0.5 comes, so 86.5. Now we got 50% of 173 to be 86.5. So that means what can we arrive here is for 173, 50% is going to be 86.5. And from this itself, we can very easily catch that for 173, this number 78 has to be definitely less than 50%. Is it or not? See here, I know that 86.5 itself is going to be 50%. Then in that case, 78 must be definitely something less than 50% only. Is it or not? Yeah, fine. So in that case, we can definitely eliminate option 2, which says 55%, right? See here, 50% itself is 86.5. In that case, 55% has to be definitely even more than this 86.5%, 86.5. Is it or not? But see our value, we just need to find the percentage of 78. So it must be less than 50%. Somewhere closer values we have 45, 35, everything is there. But anyways, just to confirm our answer, let's do a thing. Let's try to calculate 40%. Okay, let's try to calculate 40%. But how can we do that? For 173, let's try to calculate 40%, for which let's do a simple thing. Let's just start from 10%, because calculating 10% for any number is going to be very easy, right? So let's do a thing. 10% of 173 would be very easy for us to say that it's going to be 17.3. Simple, right? Why? Because for a number 173, not only 173, for any number we take, if I want to calculate 10% of that number, it's just going to be divided by 10. That's all. So just think of dividing 173 by 10, we'll end up with 17.3. It's just going to be one decimal to the left hand side. Is it or not? So we just take one decimal to the left hand side, we end up with 17.3. So that means 10% of our number will be 17.3. Now let's do a thing. We'll try to calculate 40%. Fine. Yeah. For which what can we do? We can just multiply this number by 4, because I know 10% is 17.3 and I want 40%. Is it or not? Let's do a thing. We'll just multiply this by 4. Why? Because 4 times of 10 is giving us 40. So let's do the same thing here also. 17.3 is going to be 10%. If I multiply 17.3 into 4, we can get 40%. Very simply, right? Yeah, fine. So let's put the decimal here again. So 4 3s are is going to be 12 and 1 is a carryover. And 4 7s are is 28 plus 1 is 29. Again, a 2 is carryover. And 4 1s are is 4 plus 2 is 6. So we are ending up with 69.2 as our value. So that means 40% of our number is going to be 69.2. Now from these two pieces itself, we can very easily say, right? See here, I know 40% of my number is, I just calculated, we just calculated that 40% of our number is 69.2, and we have already calculated that 50% of our number is going to be 86.5. So in that case, see our number 78. Our 78 is definitely somewhere between these two numbers. I mean 86 and 69. So definitely my answer, I mean the percentage answer has to be somewhere between 40% to 50%. I mean, to be more precise, our answer has to be more than 40% and less than 50%. Why? Once again, I repeat the reason. See here, 40% of my total revenue, 173, I got it to be 69.2 lakhs. And 50% of my total revenue, I got it to be 86.5 lakhs. So we need to find for 78 lakhs, this one. So in that case, it must be more than 40% and less than 50%. And the only option matching with that is going to be option 1, which is 45%. And the options itself is helping us to get the answer in a very easy way, right? So these are all some tricks and tips that we can apply whenever we play with percentage questions. So this is how we can proceed and then get the answer. I hope it is clear to you. Yeah, fine. You have completed all the 4 questions here. And yes, here also, this session, again, we had some different varieties of question. The first question is from numbers and equation, because in our previous session itself, we have already tried one variety here. There also, we tried one variety from solving equations and we got the answer. The same way here also, we have got a question and we are doing it in the same way. Yes. And the others are going to be little tricky. That's it, right? There's nothing big to work out here. See the second question, there's nothing to work out. There's nothing to work or use the formula or undergo any calculation. Nothing is needed for that to solve these questions. Simply we need to observe the table, the given table, and then answer it. And the third one is going to be a little bit of calculation, because we are involving the addition works here. We add it and then get the answer to get it and get the answer. And last one, fourth one, here is what is, we have a very tricky question. Once again, it's going to be a very easy basic question. For those who are much advanced in math calculations, they may feel it to be very easy, but for those who try this kind of basic percentage question can really use these kind of tricks to solve this. Okay, so just a kind of approximation. See the options, these options are going to be very much helpful for us to predict the answer, right? So whenever we get this kind of percentage question, we can even perform this kind of tricky calculations and then get the answer. See, we just go to the nearest thing, nearest option, nearest value, and through which itself, that range itself, okay, without even exactly predicting the answer, calculating the answer, because the calculation is going to be very hard for us to perform. We will have to search the numbers for which we can cancel the tables. It's going to take more time. So instead of doing that, we just need to range our answer. Okay. So when we range our answer, that itself will help us to get the answer, exact answer choice, which answer choice would be our answer without spending our time to work out. Fine. Yes. So successfully, we have completed all 4 questions for this session. And as usual, if you have any doubts in solving these questions, definitely you can comment your doubts there. We'll find a possible ways to help you back. And once again, in our next session, we'll catch up with the other set of questions. See you soon there. Thank you so much. Bye.